Hello everyone, welcome back or welcome to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Caitlin Rose and welcome back to Vlogmas. This is the other part to my holiday TBR video. There is a Christmas themed holiday TBR, which are literally, as it sounds, the books that are Christmas themed that I want to read in the holiday season. That video either came out before this one or it's coming out just after that. So be sure to subscribe down below and turn on the notification bell to be notified when that video goes up or when the next Vlogmas video goes out. This video is the TBR list of the books I want to read during the holiday season that aren't specifically Christmas themed, because if I read one theme or genre repetitively for too long, I get bored. So it's just books that I want to read kind of in between and to mix things up a bit. Most of these books are ones that I personally will be reading on my Kindle, just because I only have a few of them in physical form. That's guaranteeing that I won't buy any more books over the Christmas season, which I'm also not excluding. I have them written down here and I'm going to go into detail about a little bit of each of them and why I want to read them, in case you're interested in any new books to read or you're just interested in what I'm going to be reading over this season. Either one, glad you're here. The first one is the Maze Runner books 3, 4 and 5. Right now with me I only have the third one, which is The Death Cure. When I'm filming this video, I'm currently in chapter 14, which is about 15-ish% through, possibly. This book, I read The Maze Runner and The Scorched Trials, which is book 1 and 2 in the Maze Runner series. I finished them not that long ago because I'm reading this entire series. This is a series I want to finish by the time 2024 is over, and that seems crazy to say because I don't even know where half of 2024 went, to be completely honest with you, because it still feels like 2025 should be months away, but it's not. It's literally a month away, just over a month by when I'm filming this, which is a crazy thought. But I've never read The Maze Runner before, and I started it in November when it was kind of dystopian era of reading. But there's 5 books and I've been reading other books in between, so it's taken me longer to finish than I thought it would, which is fine. So that's probably another video that will be uploaded around Christmas time, but I'm still counting it as a dystopian era, okay? It's chilly outside, mornings are darker, nights are darker for longer, so I still think it counts. One thing I will say, if you've also not read the Maze Runner series ever, is that don't expect it whatsoever to be like the movies. The first one's similar, the second one absolutely not, and this one up to where I am currently is also not similar to the movies whatsoever. But I will say that it's different enough from the movies that neither one ruins each other. Like, the books are one thing, the movies are the other, and it doesn't ruin anything. Books 4 and 5 are in my sister's room downstairs, but they're all a similar length. They're about 350 pages each. The fourth one is called, according to the back of this, The Kill Order, but I don't know what the fifth one is called because it obviously wasn't released by the time these were bought. But yeah, the third one is the one I'm currently on, and I want to finish the series by the time the year finishes, which is crazy to think. A little warning is that I think a third of these books are ones that are series that I'm currently in the middle of that I want to finish, which leads me to the second book, even though the first one that is on my TBR was technically 3 books, but I put it under just the Maze Runner series because I want to finish this series in the holiday season. So that's already 3 books. But the next book is the last book in the Crowns of Nyaxia, I never know how to pronounce it, series, which is a series by Carissa Broadbent. The first book is The Serpent and Wings of Night, and the second one, I can't remember the title for, but it's a fantasy series that also has romance in it, that from the second I picked it up a few months ago for, I can't remember what video it was for, but it was for a YouTube video. I just got obsessed with this series, and the third book in the series, which is The Songbird and the Heart of Stone, came out mid-November this year, and it recently got put onto Kindle Unlimited. So I'm 100% taking advantage of that to finish that series. And when I say finish, I mean all of the books that are currently released. I don't know if there's going to be a 4th book in the series, and I have a feeling I either won't know until it's announced or until I see how the 3rd book ends. And the last book I have on my TBR that is in a series is Caught Up by Liz Tomford, which is the 3rd book in the Windy City series. I think after Caught Up there's 1 or 2 more books, unless there's more that are coming out. I could be wrong and there could be more than that in the series, but as far as I'm aware, it's a 5-book series. I will double check that after, but I'm currently on the 3rd book, and I really like how this series is linked. Like, each book is its own book and they have their own main characters, but each book includes the main characters of the one before because it's based in the same place, but at the same time you follow a different pairing each time. So the first book was one couple that got together, and then the second book was about Ryan Shay, my one true love in romance book series that I've read to this day. Ryan Shay is my man, who was the brother of Stevie in the first book. Stevie? That doesn't sound right. It's been a while since I read that series, but I did start it, and then because I don't have an actual Kindle, I'm about to purchase one because I want to be able to read on a actual Kindle. I was before using my tablet thing I have, but because the app takes up that much space on the tablet, it just keeps telling me to delete files anytime I finish a chapter or a few pages, and I can't read like that. So I had to delay that reading and move on to reading some of the physical books I have, because I just couldn't every 2 pages have to go delete files that actually weren't deleting anything just to go back and do the same thing repetitively for the entire reading experience. It just ruined it, so I couldn't do that. I am only just realizing now that most of the books are fantasy, and I don't know whether it's just because my brain went to that of finishing a romance series I'm in the middle of, reading a bunch of Christmas romances, and then just because of chilly weather and stuff and longer nights and darker days, that I just gravitated towards fantasy. But it is also one of my favorite genres. I love fantasy books, which is really weird because I was exclusively a non-fiction and romance reader prior to opening this YouTube channel and expanding my genres, and now I am obsessed with fantasies and romanticies, which I didn't think would happen, and thrillers. Like, I love a good thriller. A good thriller mystery book is everything. So the last two I have are both fantasy themed books. One is The Queen of Roses by Briar Bolin, and the other is A Game of Hearts and Heists by Ruby Rowe. I do know that A Game of Hearts and Heists by Ruby Rowe is a woman like woman LGBT romance fantasy. But I didn't look into the plot of either of them too much, because if you've been around for a while, you'd know that I love to go into books knowing that there is stuff in them that I will most likely enjoy, but not knowing too much of the plot to the point where I know what to expect in the romance elements or the fantasy elements. Like, I knew in the Crowns of Nixia series, I know that is a vampire-esque themed fantasy. I knew that before I started reading the series, and then the romance and the way that the characters developed and the elements that were fantasy in the book, I found them out and figured them out as I was reading, just because the unknown of what's going to happen just makes the reading experience that much more. And I feel like if I know a certain character's gonna like die, or these two get together in the end, or these two break up in the middle and then they end up together, like if I know spoilers like that, I don't enjoy the book and I don't get attached to characters and I don't go through the highs and the lows. It's the same as like watching a new series or watching a new movie. I hate spoilers for stuff just because I want to experience it all for the first time, which is also why I don't ever really reread books, because I know what to expect. But I've also never tried to reread a book because I just think I won't enjoy it. So that would be interesting to see if I enjoyed like my 5-star books after rereading them again, or if I enjoyed any other book more than I did the first time I read it. But it's just, I love going in blind to books, especially, well, really any kind of book, but especially romances, because if it's a romance, I know there's going to be romance in it, but I don't know if it's enemies to lovers, if it's slow burn, if it's grumpy sunshine type dynamic, and I love to figure that out while I'm reading the books. So there's some on this list that I do kind of know how they are because they're parts of series that I'm reading. Most of them are dual point of view because I love dual point of view. The only ones I know for sure that aren't is the Maze Runner series, because I've been reading it and it's a 3-person point of view, but it's written from a third person, but it doesn't feel like you're reading it from a third person. I don't know if that's just how my brain works, but for me it's almost like Thomas is telling the story. I don't know if it's meant to be written that way or that's just my way of interpreting it, but that's the way it comes across to me. But when you're reading it, it is written technically in third person, but when I'm reading it, it feels like I'm being told the story by Thomas. So that's an interesting element of the Maze Runner books. But again, that's just how each person is different when they read books. That is the non-Christmas holiday TBR that I have. Be sure to check out the other part of it, which is the Christmas themed one, if you are looking for some holiday romance books to read. Again, I think the majority of the ones I chose are dual point of view just because I enjoy reading from both perspectives and seeing where their brain's at. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like it, subscribe and turn on the notification bell down below to be notified when I upload a new video, as well as for this Christmas season specifically because it is Vlogmas season. It's my first time ever doing it, so I'm going to try and be as on top of it as possible, which is why I am pre-filming a few of the videos, like book TBRs and reaction videos and things like that. The Vlogmas that I'm doing this year being my first ever Vlogmas, and I'm not someone who has that much of an exciting life every single day that I can vlog every single day, because I am very much a homebody. I'm not someone who goes out, which is something I want to try and change next year, as well as over the Christmas season I do want to meet up with friends. But the Vlogmas that I'm doing is more like, there will be some vlogs in there, there'll be book videos in there, there'll be like talking style vlogs where it's more talkative than it is vlog, kind of like I like to call it a vlogcast, like a podcast but in vlog form, because I don't think I could sit down long enough to do a 45-minute 30-minute podcast. I just don't think I have that in me. And there will be some kind of just random videos dispersed around in there of like Christmas reaction videos or a gaming video here and there. So there's a mixture, because I also want to show my personality and the diversity of videos that I enjoy making. And the reason I enjoy making them is because I enjoy watching them, and I don't want to stick to one specific niche just because I feel like I'm shutting off other parts of my personality. So be sure to stick around for that, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!